Hello, everybody. So many familiar faces. Even if I don't know you, you look familiar, I have to say, all of you. We're here tonight for three reasons. The first two you know about. The first reason is to honor our 6 people who have contributed so much to make this world a better place. That's the first reason. The second reason is to celebrate Tikkun's 25th anniversary. Yay! The third reason, which is not in any of the promo that you have received, but it's one I am declaring myself right now, is to honor and to express our gratitude to Michael Lerner. For Michael. So this night is really also and especially about that. Michael would never do this himself. He would never set an event to honor himself. He has been worrying about whether you all had enough food, whether you found a place to park, all of those kinds of things. That's what he has been concerned about. So I just want to make sure that we honor and express our gratitude to him. As Yay, Michael. As Peter said, I was the co-founding publisher of Tikkun magazine. And I want to say a little bit about those early days also, because they really did set the tone for the way the magazine has evolved. It started, the germ of the idea for Tikkun came when Michael and I sat down and decided we wanted to do a project together. Now, what was this project going to be? We made a list of lots of different possibilities. One of the least ambitious possibilities on that list, I can say, was starting a national magazine of politics, culture, and society. And this magazine, we decided, would be rooted in Judaism, but very much open to people from all faiths and all backgrounds, and open to people who were religious and people who were secular, atheists, people, in other words, it was a very, very large umbrella that we were creating. And that has remained throughout the course of the magazine. So there we were, neither one of us had ever done a single thing in the publishing world. At that point, we hadn't even published books ourselves, and so we didn't know anything. And so you know what it's like when you're, well, 25 years younger, and you have a big dream, you start working really, really hard. So it was very, very much fast-track learning for us, I can tell you that. And there were many decisions to be made along the way. One of them was the title of this magazine, and we kept coming back to the name Tikkun because of what the word means, to heal and repair the world. And everybody we talked to, absolutely everybody said, mistake, mistake, forget it. Nobody's going to remember that name, but that was a name that sang to us, and so we embraced it and went ahead. We had many, many discussions, and from Peter and his wonderful introduction to the ideas that are behind Tikkun can really give you an idea of the kind of conversations we had about what this was that we were doing at that time. So anyhow, I do want to say one more thing about Peter's involvement, because Peter was there every step of the way. So important in the creation of this magazine, and I really thank you, Peter, and continue to thank you for that. So we were creating this magazine. We decided for some unknown reason that we wanted to print 40,000 copies of our first edition, our first issue. Now, 40,000 is a lot of copies, and it's a lot of boxes. And considering the fact that we didn't have any subscribers at the time, you can see where our heads were. We were just very optimistic folk. And so there we were. I remember the day the truck arrived with the 40,000 issues of Tikkun in these tidy little boxes. And we were working out of a house that I think of as a tree house in the Oakland Hills. And to get there, one had to drive on one of those little curvy roads and then come up a driveway that was a long dirt driveway that had a drop on one side. And so the truck driver made his way up there and then took all these boxes out and kind of dumped them right there. And this was an exciting moment, a very exciting moment. But again, the question was, what are we going to do with all of these magazines? So I can say that we opened up the first box and took the issue out and oh, look, and then opened it up, and of course there were mistakes. There's always mistakes and everything. So there was a little bit of a diminishing of the initial enthusiasm. But Michael, who was born, I believe, with more marketing smarts in his kind of little finger than the rest of us have in our whole being, Michael decided, well, we need to get the word out about the magazine. And so we took an ad out in the New York Times, and the ad said, finally, a liberal alternative to Commentary magazine. Now, perhaps you know that Commentary magazine was the long-standing conservative voice of Jewish kind of intellectuals and Jewish thought, we can say, and it had quite a wide circulation. Well, this ad in the New York Times caused a very big commotion, enough so that we started getting a lot of attention from the media. Now, there we were in our little place, and the media started calling, like there was Newsweek and this one and that one, and not only did that, they came to see us. And for them to come and see us and take pictures, anyhow, it was, I can tell you, it was trippy. The whole thing was really trippy. And this is what creation is, isn't it? You start something and you just never quite know what's going to happen, and then it comes. And so before the magazine was even 2 months old, we had already a lot of press, and then 3 months down, there was an article in Newsweek magazine about these people from the West Coast who were challenging commentary. And so our subscription base grew. And so I actually love to think about that story because it was such an overflowing of abundance. We got many, many subscribers, and we got rid of all 40,000 of those magazines pretty quickly. Yay! So, anyhow, since that time, this was just the beginning. The magazine has continued to blossom, to bloom, to flow, to reach all kinds of people. As Peter was talking about, it's made its way into so many different communities, and it's just become a thing of its own that is just amazingly influential in ways that I never myself expected it to be. And I have to say that the magazine is founded on the values, these values that Peter expressed and that you'll hear more of tonight. And I feel really proud of that, and it has stayed that way through all these years. In 1991, I think it was, I stepped aside from the magazine, and the magazine continued. So many staff members have worked at Tikkun, so many interns, so many people have come through and left their mark. And after I left as publisher, there were a few other people who were publishers, and then Trish and George Vredenberg came on, and they've been publishers for the last 10 years. And so the magazine, again, has continued. But there have been changes. And some of you who have followed the magazine probably have noticed those changes. In 1985, when we started the magazine, spirituality was, forget it. Nobody talked about spirituality, and especially in the Jewish world. It was, whew, you know. And so the word of spirituality the concern about that, the thoughts about it, even though that was in our minds at the time, we didn't put very much of that in the magazine. It was more of an intellectual magazine. And as time has gone by, and with the establishment of the network of, the network of spiritual progressives, excuse me, it has become much more a magazine that is focused on spiritual issues as well as intellectual, political, cultural issues. And it has also become even more of a magazine that reaches an interfaith community, and we're all really excited about that. So there we are. That's the beginning of Tikkun. That's some of my memories. And again, I'm very proud and very grateful for this magazine and for the work that so many of us all here have done to make it happen. Thank you.